Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, I am MetaStar Messenger, creator and host of the Chronus Book of Days, a one-of-a-kind weekly tarot calendar system that you are unlikely to find anywhere else. The Chronus Book of Days communicates universal messages. The weekly card interpretations apply to all zodiac signs and all people. Some archetypes, actions, themes, and possible manifestations will resonate with you on a personal level, some may not. That's fine. Take what resonates and stick a pin in the rest, perhaps for a later date. In addition to weekly insights taken from the tarot, I also bring 27 years of astrological study and experience to the most relevant astrological highlights for the week, simplifying it all for you. I am so glad you have found your way here or decided to return for the next chapter in the Chronus Book of Days. Let's begin. With only 5 weeks left in the year, we arrive at week 48, which in the Chronus Book of Days is symbolized by the reversed Hierophant and the Nine of Pentacles as its satellite companion. If this annual week 48 tarot combo were to embody a popular song, the tune would be Madonna's 1984 hit, Material Girl. While the Christmas holiday season traditionally emphasizes values of love, togetherness, and the spirit of generosity, the reversed Hierophant symbolizes a departure from societal norms, traditional beliefs and institutions, which aligns nicely with the song's unconventional, nonconformist message. In the song Material Girl, there's a sense of breaking away from societal norms and expectations about love and relationships. Madonna expresses her desire for material wealth and personal independence rather than conforming to traditional ideas of romance. As the Hierophant's satellite companion, the Nine of Pentacles represents financial independence, luxury, and enjoying the finer things in life. The Nine of Pentacles, commonly known as the Lesser or Little Empress among tarot enthusiasts, epitomizes female self-sufficiency and unapologetic revelry in material success and wealth. This theme is apparent in the lyrics of Material Girl that glorify a woman who values material possessions and enjoys the benefits of her financial independence. With that in mind, when week 48 circles around, it challenges the conventional wisdom that the holiday season should revolve around sentimental and spiritual aspects, suggesting that individuality and personal desires can also play a significant role in how we celebrate and express ourselves during this time of year. And that we're only kidding ourselves if we believe this is not the case. In recent times, Christmas has evolved into what is often referred to as engagement ring season. While the tradition of giving or receiving a ring can be meaningful, it's essential to remember that not everyone may be enthusiastic about this path, which can make for an awkward post-holiday environment. You might find contentment in your independence, freedom, or unorthodox lifestyle just as it is. Sometimes, however, external pressures from family, coworkers, friends, or the community can create an expectation that engagement and marriage must be the next step in your journey, and no time better than the holiday season. It's essential to honor your own desires and the pace that feels right for you, whether that includes an engagement or not. As we return to the female figure depicted in the Nine of Pentacles, we not only recognize her as a woman of great wealth and privilege, but also as an accomplished falconer, evident from her mastery over the bird under her command and control. The falcon, swift as a speeding arrow, is the fastest member of the animal kingdom. A falconer is a person who practices the sport of pursuing live prey with a raptor, such as a falcon. It is said that falconers tend to be enterprising natural leaders, who thrive at influencing and persuading others. With these facts in mind, it becomes evident that this apparently sophisticated and noble woman is far more complex and menacing than we see at first glance. In week 48, which emphasizes elements of predatory behavior and speed, the presence of the garden snail in the foreground of the Nine of Pentacles creates an interesting juxtaposition. The snail symbolizes traits such as determination, patience, slowness, and less favorably, straggling and laggards. This symbolism suggests that the source of wealth may not be through honest or self-made means, but rather she may be heiress of a substantial fortune rooted in the labor of slaves or other predatory practices, or perhaps an adulterous mistress, wealthy young widow, or person fulfilling the role of a kept individual, which is an archetype characterized by receiving financial support and a place to live in exchange for a sexual relationship. Keep in mind, the host of week 48, the reversed Hierophant, devoid of integrity and a moral compass, fosters an environment that not only accommodates the kept woman in a loveless marriage but also welcomes the homosexual gigolo who is in it for the money and status perks, each playing their own snail-like long game of easy money, whether through a substantial divorce settlement or inheritance or catfishing scam. The kept woman embodies the very image that Princess Diana adamantly refused to become in her marriage with Prince Charles. However, a different story unfolded for Camille Parker Bowles, who patiently played the long game and eventually ascended to the position and royal title of Queen. This pattern is not unique. We can also look at Melania Trump, who is the third wife, served her time as younger wife arm candy before becoming First Lady of the United States, all the while seemingly overlooking her husband's immoral and corrupt behavior in exchange for a life of luxury and ease. In an era where trading up and elevated mistresses are not uncommon, we mustn't forget Lauren Sanchez, the mistress and girlfriend of Jeff Bezos, who patiently played the long game, receiving an engagement ring this past May. Once married, she will ascend to the position of wife to the third richest person in the world. The astrological correspondence for the Hierophant is the zodiac sign of Taurus and the planet Mercury. Mercury rules the number 5, and the zodiac sign of Taurus, ruled by Venus, has rulership over key 5, the Hierophant. Therefore, both Mercury, akin to the legendary figures of Merlin and Hermes Trismegistus, and Venus, the brilliant morning star associated with the five-pointed pentacle and goddess worship, share strong connections to magic and ritual. So, when the Hierophant is reversed to strange, dark magic is inferred. The sacred keys of wisdom and salvation become profane and misappropriated. There is a shadow church present here, for better or for worse, that appears to cater to the elite and super wealthy. In this shadow church of modern materialism, there is no shame, no guilt. Rather, the high ethics seem to dictate that, as long as one is either incredibly wealthy, influential, or immensely famous, the mistress archetype shall hold a renewed admiration afforded to few, as she is crowned queen, elevated to the highest office, and exalted above the wealthiest of wealthy, with past transgressions no longer mentioned, let alone held against her. Typically, when we reach Tarot 9s, we are nearing completion or endgame of the suit in question. Here we are reaching endgame for the materialistic suit of Pentacles. Given the rarity and niche nature of a female falconer, the artist was undoubtedly making a statement, possibly a derogatory one, toward this anonymous female figure. Certainly, the Nine of Pentacles has received an original intent facelift and a lot of good press over the decades, because rarely will you hear a tarot reader slap a scarlet letter on the Nine of Pentacles the way I have here. Regardless, it's worth noting that gold diggers and scam artists share similarities with falconers as persuasive individuals skilled in pursuing live prey with remarkable speed, albeit for different purposes. The Eight of Wands solar path reinforces the suddenness, swift action and whirlwind speed with which a situation may develop or unfold. In a year associated with the Chariot, known for ambitious forward movement and aggressive speed, there arises the need especially for grown children, particularly those of well-off widows or lonely widowers, to express concern for their parents. This concern may arise if they observe a parent moving too swiftly in a new romantic relationship. Similarly, during the holidays, in any age group or situation, there can be instances where a new person swoops in, joining the family table or festivities, and exudes a greedy-eyed predatory vibe. On Sunday, December 3rd, during week 48, the solar path transitions from the influence of the Eight of Wands and the initial stage of Sagittarius to the Nine of Wands and the second stage of Sagittarius. This transition brings with it characteristics associated with Aries and Mars, cosmic influences known for their traits of ambitious, aggressive action, as well as a tendency toward haste and speed. With that in mind, in the Nine of Wands, we see a paranoid-looking figure who we might assume by the bandaged head, has a history of human battles and bad experiences. As a result, he may be living by the adage once bitten, twice shy. However, his paranoia doesn't necessarily mean that his instincts are off, on the contrary. In fact, the second decan of Sagittarius associated with the Nine of Wands has strong survival skills and very good instincts. This implies then, that one can learn from the past and from past mistakes. So that, when we come across someone facing a similar situation, especially under the influence of the reversed Hierophant, which often symbolizes lessons not learned, or learning the hard way by refusing to follow common wisdom or guidance, it might be time to question the nature of a friend or loved one's private online activities or recent expenditures, ensuring they are not falling prey or vulnerable to online scams, or catfishing, or other bad actors. It's also important to keep an eye on naive trust fund beneficiaries who may require guidance and protection as well. Lastly, while the magic of the holiday season is a no-brainer for most children, it's not always the case for adults. The holidays can often be the make or break point for relationships or even friendships that were already strained. In today's material age, where material-minded individuals desire gifts, baubles and bonuses that can be flaunted and shared on social media for the world to see, nobody really wants to be that person who posts a generic Christmas morning greeting, because what they received or didn't receive from their partner or employer was so disappointing that admitting it publicly would only re-traumatize the recipient. Receiving a mere $1 scratch-off lottery ticket as your year-end or Christmas bonus might not only leave you underwhelmed and potentially shamed but should also prompt serious consideration of parting ways with said employer in the new year. On Monday, November 27th, at 4:16 a.m. Eastern Time, United States, the full moon illuminates 4 degrees of Gemini, a degree that in some circles is recognized as the true birth of Christ degree. The last full moon of autumn, also known as the morning moon, a name associated with the season and its darkening nights, adds another layer of significance to the post-Thanksgiving celestial event. The full moon's position in the 8th house, when charted for the East Coast, United States, can be seen as a confirming signature for themes typical to week 48, due to the 8th house association with other people's money, shared resources and possessions, as well as matters of death and inheritance. The moon, associated with feminine energy, in the duplicitous, fickle-hearted sign of Gemini, reminds us of the shadow qualities associated with the lady depicted on the Nine of Pentacles satellite companion card. The Sun, which is always in opposition to the Moon during its full phase, is situated in the 2nd house in Jupiter-ruled Sagittarius. This arrangement exemplifies notions of wealth, luxury, and privilege, as well as a focus on expensive and fortunate aspects of life, suggesting a period during which financial matters, including income, possessions, as well as debt and losses, may come into greater focus or have a more significant impact on our lives. The influence of Mercury, as the natural ruler of Gemini, adds still another layer of significance to the full moon event. Mercury is associated with communication, intellect, as well as games, tricks, and scams. With Gemini being illuminated by the full moon, the qualities associated with Mercury in sign detriment may play a significant role in how we navigate and understand the financial and resource-related themes highlighted by this full moon. Another noteworthy aspect of this event is the presence of Mercury at 24 degrees in the future solar path, ahead of the Sun. This degree area associates with the Ten of Wands in the Chronus Book of Days, signifying a point where we must bear our burdens, often with a sense of heaviness and challenge. Additionally, with Mercury in its pre-retrograde shadow phase square nebulous Neptune in Pisces, events may unfold in a way that we might not be entirely conscious of, especially now given the busy nature of year-end deadlines and festivities consuming more of our attention. This adds an element of oblivion and unpredictability that calls for heightened presence and awareness as we navigate this hectic time. Furthermore, the square aspect between Mercury and Neptune, both in mutable signs and influenced by Jupiter, serves as a ghost of Christmas future red flag warning. It warns against being overly ambitious or fast and loose, especially with spending, as well as the potential for scams, theft, and deception. This alignment underscores the importance of safeguarding your finances, personal belongings and information, privacy, and if applicable, any legacy wealth you may possess. It's a Nine of Wands things yet to come reminder to exercise caution and vigilance in these areas. In conclusion, the alignment of both Mercury and Neptune to the slow-moving transiting South Node in Libra adds the final compelling layer to this multi-faced full moon. Notably, the South Node has been stationed at the 24th degree of Libra from September 26th and will remain there until November 30th of this week, covering a duration of 8 weeks respectively. Mercury is on its way to a conjunction with the Via Negativa, a midpoint that I coined, essentially involving Neptune and the karmic-laden South Node. When the midpoint between these two is active or activated, it often relates to high-profile scandals and results in case studies demonstrating what not to do or paths that would have been better avoided. It signifies serious trouble that in most cases could have been avoided if willful avoidance of the truth hadn't been present. This extended stay of the South Node at 24 degrees Libra, in addition to Mercury's December 13th stationing, retrograde upon the Neptune South Node midpoint, or negative path, is akin to a collective come-to-Jesus moment, a reckoning with the truths and lessons that the universe has laid before us. In week 48 in the Chronus Book of Days, we examined the symbolism of the reversed Hierophant and its satellite companion, the Nine of Pentacles, as an annual tarot combination, likening it to Madonna's hit song Material Girl. Week 48 is a week that challenges traditional holiday values by emphasizing individuality and personal desires, particularly in the context of engagement expectations. The Nine of Pentacles, with its depiction of a wealthy and self-sufficient woman, brings forth themes of financial independence and material success, echoing the message of Madonna's song. However, it also hints at a more complex narrative, suggesting that wealth may not always be self-made or come by honestly, but could involve other arrangements. I introduced the concept of the kept woman and how societal norms can sometimes pressure individuals into relationships that may not align with their values or desires. The symbolism of the reversed Hierophant always adds a layer of dark magic and moral ambiguity to the week 48 narrative. Here it helped demonstrate how the mistress archetype, once scarletized, can rise to power and admiration when associated with wealth, glamour, and influence. As we reach the Nine of Wands solar path, it's important to explore the idea of learning from past mistakes and being cautious, especially in the online world or illusions. The influence of the reversed Hierophant suggests the importance of questioning the nature of online activities to avoid costly scams and deceptions. Lastly, I touched on the pressures of materialism during the holiday season, where disappointing and hurtful gifts can become a death knell in an already strained relationship or workplace. I discussed how the full moon in Gemini, along with the influence of Mercury and Neptune, adds a layer of unpredictability and warns against scams and deceptions. It's a call to exercise caution and vigilance, particularly in financial matters and personal belongings. In conclusion, the tarot and astrology for week 48 expressed compatible themes surrounding materialism and unconventional relationships, to caution in financial matters, inviting us to reflect on the complexities of our choices and the influence of societal expectations during the holiday season. If you'd like to help me and the channel to grow, please subscribe to the channel, like the video on your way out, binge previous episodes, and leave a comment or question below. I'd love to hear from you. I am MetaStar Messenger. Until next time, always love.